Friends, hello and welcome on techguruspeaks.com. Today's topic of discussion is Java loop control statement. Now, what do you mean by a loop? Basically, loop means whenever we are trying to repeat a sequence of statements, then we'll be using the concept of loop. In Java, we can have mainly three types of loop, like while loop, do while loop, and for loop. The for loop can have two other variations apart from the normal for loop. They are called the leveled for loop and the enhanced for loop. The loops like while, do while, or for loop can be associated with the break statement to make an early exit from the current loop, or it can have a continue statement to stop current iteration and continue with the next one. Now I'll describe each one of them one by one. Loop I will discuss today is the while loop. The while loop iterates over a block of code when a condition is satisfied. If the condition is not satisfied, Java will not allow to execute the statements inside the while loop. Since the condition is checked at the beginning of the while loop, it is also called an entry controlled loop. So here comes the syntax of the while loop. Next comes the do while loop. The do while loop is basically a variant of the while loop which will always be executed at least once, even if the condition is not satisfied, because the code is executed before the condition is tested. Just have a look at it. First, it will be giving the chance to enter its body, and the particular coding statement inside the body of the loop is getting executed. Then the condition is checked. So if the condition is not satisfied, then it will be moving out of the loop. So that is why we can say that this kind of loop will always be executed at least once, even if the condition is false. Since the condition is checked at the end of the loop, it is also called an exit control loop. The for loop iterates over a block of coding statements for a specified number of times. Just have a look at the syntax of the for loop. We are having three parts, like initialization part, condition part, and the reinitialization part. Sometimes it is called increment or decrement. So if the condition is satisfied, only then the coding statement inside the for loop will be executed, otherwise not. So now we'll just demonstrate each of the loops one by one by using the NetBeans IDE. Just have a look at it. First, I will be starting with the while loop. Remember that for a particular loop, it must have a initialization part, condition part, and the reinitialization part, which is sometimes called increment or decrement. So here the name of the program is loop test 01. We are having the main method here. It is also called PSVM, that is public static void main. We are having a loop control variable that is called I, which is of type integer, and the initial value of this loop control variable is 1. Now we are having a condition to be specified for the while loop, that is I less than equal to 5. So the initial value of I is equal to 1. So that is why the condition will be satisfied. So the while loop will allow the program control to enter its body, and the coding statement under the body of the loop will be getting executed. So if I am trying to run it, for I equal to 1, the value will be shown over here. then the value of I is getting incremented by 1. So that is the reinitialization part. So if I equal to 2, the condition is again checked. Since it is satisfied, the number is 2 will be printed, then the value will be getting updated, and so on. So the process will be continued until the value of I is 5. After then the value of I will become 6 because it is incremented by 1. So whenever it will become 6, so we'll be trying to check whether the condition is satisfied or not, and it will not be satisfied and it will be moving out of the loop. So that is the logic behind this program. So the condition is checked at the beginning of the loop only. So that is why it is called entry controlled loop. Next comes do while loop, which is a particular kind of variant of the while loop where the condition is checked at the end. So that is why it is called exit control loop. So it will be executing at least once even if the condition is false. And have a look at it, there is having a semicolon after the while the condition. So in that way the while and do while loop can be differentiated. For the while loop there was no semicolon after the condition part, but here for the do while loop the while part is put at the end of the loop and we are having a semicolon. So that means the condition is checked at the end of the loop. The output will be same, but the working principle for the two loops are different. Next comes the good old for loop, that is a normal for loop. So it has been initialized, that means the loop control variable I has been initialized with the value 1. So you can see that here I can specify the type also, like it is a local variable like or local field. It is the condition part and it is the increment part. I think you can now understand the output will be same, but the logic of the loop, that is the for loop, is different from the other loops. So that is the basic idea of different types of loops. Now we will be seeing two different variants of the for loop. Like we can have a labeled loop or enhanced for loop. But before discussing them, I would like to describe the use of break and continue statement inside the loop. So just first I will be visiting the break statement, then the continue statement. So what is the role of break statement? If I am putting a condition with respect to the break statement, then if the condition is met, we will be out of the loop. Just have a look at it. I am trying to run the program. So if I equal to 4, we are putting a break statement here. That means the program control will be moving out of the for loop. So that is why the output is the number is 1, number is 2, and number is 3. Whenever I is becoming 4, it will be out of the loop. So that is the logic. Now for continue statement, suppose it has been started with 1 and the last value will be 5 because I less than equal to 5. So for I equal to 1 it will be printed, for I equal to 2 it will be printed, but for I equal to 3, continue means what? It will be just skipping the iteration, but the normal process will be done. Like after I equal to 3, like whenever I will be having, if I equal to 3 continue, that means the value will be incremented by 1, though this part will be skipped. The value will be incremented by 1, now it will become 4, and the normal operation of the loop will be continued. That means what? It will be checked whether the value of I is less than equal to 5 or not. So in that way the break statement can be differentiated from the continue statement. Just remember that for continue it will not be out of the loop, it will be just skipping the iteration and moving to the next part. So that is the idea. Now we will be seeing the two different variations of the for loop. First I will be discussing the level loop. Suppose we are having two labels for the two loops, that is it is the outer loop where I is the loop control variable, and for the inner loop we are having j as the loop control variable. So if I am trying to run it, you can see here the initial value of I equal to 1. Now for I equal to 1, we can have j equal to 1 to 5. Now for I equal to 1, if j is equal to 1, there is no problem, it will be printing the value. Similarly for I equal to 1 and j equal to 2, because it will be incremented by 1, so it will be showing I equal to 1, j equal to 2. Then it will be printing the value for I equal to 1 and j equal to 3. But after that, whenever the value of j is equal to 4, considering I equal to 1, we are basically putting the statement break level 1. That means we are moving out of the outer loop. So in that way, the label loop can be written in Java. Now we are having a relatively new version of for loop, that is called enhanced for loop. Suppose we are having an array, integer type of array, say 10 to 90. We are having 9 values here, 9 integer values here. Now we are going to add them one by one. So for that reason, I have taken a variable named sum, and the final result of summation operation will be taken from this variable. But initially it has been initialized with the value 0. Now we are trying to iterate from the beginning to the end by using the enhanced for loop. It is not like the normal for loop. Like we can have the for loop, but instead of having initialization condition or initialization part, we are having just a particular kind of variable here, that is of integer type, because we are dealing with an integer array, and we are taking the values from index 0 to index of the last element. So it will be done automatically and sequentially, like starting from 0 to the end element. So the first value is 10. It will be stored in the variable arr. So that value is added with the variable sum. So in that way, the value of the sum variable is getting updated. Now for the next iteration, it will be arr will be equal to 20, and the value 20 is now getting up added with the old value, that was 10. So 10 plus 20, it will be 30 now. So for the next iteration, the value of arr will be 30, and that particular value will be added with the previous value of sum, that is basically 30. So 30 plus 30, it will become 60. So in that way, the process will be continued until we are considering the end element or the last element of the array. So in that way, we will be able to calculate the sum for it. So just have a look at here. So we are providing a particular variable that will be basically collecting the elements of the array one by one or sequentially, starting from the 0th element to the last element. So in that way, the sum will be calculated and it will be printed by using the SOP. Now we can have a runtime property of a particular kind of array, that is called length. In that we can have the length of the variable, like array variable. So now we are having the sum value and the length, that means the count, how many numbers are there. So if I divide the sum by the number of elements in the array, it will give you the average value. So that is the logic behind this program. So it is showing the sum and the average. I hope that you have understood the logic of the program. I also hope that you have thoroughly followed my video tutorial. Now I will be requesting you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and here it is my channel URL, and please visit my website techguruspeaks.com. You will get a lot of useful information there. Many interesting information is given in my site, and it is my official email admin@techguruspeaks.com. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching this video.